You have a friend who can't figure out why they're single, but you know why. What's the reason? Story 1. The guy lives in a cabin in the woods. He pumps his water and needs to heat it before he showers. But he's into girly girls. Edit. If you're a girl, want to live off-grid about 2 hours north of Montreal and are Christian, send me a DM and I'll set you up with Mr. Wildlife. Story 2. I have a friend in his 40s who is desperate to find a partner. He has become so focused on finding a partner he has ended up putting endless pressure on himself. It's all he thinks about. In some ways, he is like a teenage boy trying to find his first girlfriend. As a result, he is trying far too hard and can't relax and be himself. He has never had a problem finding girlfriends in that past, but now he is stuck in this vicious cycle. Story 3. I know a guy who is really in denial of who he really is. He always thinks he's the exception to common rules, but he's not. Overweight, extremely moody, paranoid, holds grudges, likes to start drama. He's always the victim in his stories. But he thinks he's a fun, loving, cool, intelligent person that everyone should like. TBH, he isn't really my friend anymore. Story 4. Insufferable. Thinks their opinion is factually correct and doesn't understand that other people like other things. I'm not talking about just political opinions. I mean anything, like where to eat, what type of pizza to order, what BBQ grill to buy, what tire pressure to have, what ceiling style to have. Asks your thoughts on where to eat, then automatically discounts it as a poor choice and settles on his own, always. Story 5. She always have negative remarks to things that make other people happy. I remember receiving chrysanthemums with white outer petals and yellow in the inner parts from my partner because he knows how much I love those, and that friend actually said, "These flowers are for the dead." Well, at least I receive lots of flowers while I'm alive, unlike her, and that says a lot. Story 6. Female friend. She gets way too personal too quickly, realizes they're getting too close but can't figure out why. Anyways, she pumps the brakes and ghosts and flips out on them for trying to be her boyfriend and then blocks them. Returns weeks later wanting to apologize, but at that point it's too late. Story 7. My friend owns a flat. He's good looking, active in gym and cycles a lot, knows how to cook and keeps his flat spotless. So why is he single? He is so fucking self-obsessed. Now we have been friends for years and I tend to shut him down very quickly. But watching him chatting up women is literally him chatting and her not getting a word in. Story 8. A mate of mine has been single since he divorced about 5 years ago. Nice bloke. Not short of a few quid, but makes no effort to keep clean and tidy. Consequently, he smells like a foot and looks like a tramp. We have all told him he stinks many, many times. He still stinks and still can't understand why he's single. He is the only one of my friends that my wife won't allow in our house because he lingers long after he's gone. Story 9. He created a list of 10 things that are must-haves in a wife when we were at a bar in our mid-20s. I don't remember all of them, but a few. Blonde, D-cup breasts, good career, never been married or have kids, no more than 3 previous sexual partners, etc. Other dumb, superficial stuff like that. So he's 42 now and a big loser, if anyone is out there looking that fits the bill, LOL. Story 10. Cannot stop talking. I've known him for 43 years. He is kind and genuinely likes everyone and cheers everyone's success on. Such a good person, but won't shut up, and when he isn't talking, he's eating. After college, he ballooned up to about 500 pounds. I tried meeting him at the gym and helping, gently, but it was always one excuse after another. Now I'm too far away and too busy with my own life to help. We're rapidly approaching 50. I strongly suspect he's still a virgin and has never been in a relationship. He is going to die alone, still living with his parents, and probably precede them in death due to not taking care of himself. I get so sad thinking about him. He was my best friend in high school, but I moved out and went to college and changed a lot. He's still very much how he was as a teen. Breaks my heart. Story 11-1. Unwilling to compromise. 2. Too judgmental, especially about frivolous things. 3. Can't even get their own shit together. How are they going to work with someone else build something bigger than themselves? 4. Unable to read social cues. 5. Not listening and responding in a conversation, but impatiently waiting to say the next thing in their mind. Story 12, let's see. Overweight, tries to fight obesity by only eating 1 meal a day, but the meal is mostly food that's not good for you. Goes to the brewery multiple times a week. Gets bad, cheap haircuts. This isn't a deal breaker by itself, it's just the proverbial straw. Talks about women as if they owe him. If a girl chooses to spend time with him, they quickly, obviously, become uncomfortable because he just assumes that if they are doing some kind of activity with him one-on-one that she must be into him. And when they decline to continue hanging out with them, they become whores. I brought up incels and highlighted the negative and unhealthy aspects of the line of thinking, only for him to all of a sudden get defensive about it, despite the fact that I wasn't talking about him. Whenever a girl he knows is brought up, the first thing he does is mention that girls' sex life as if it's some negative aspect. Yeah, this guy's a piece of work. Story 13. My best friend got into a relationship with his neighbor when they were around 7 years old and they never broke up. First kiss, prom, first bed partner, all of it. Basically the perfect love story. She aged as good as one can, and by the age of 19, she became a supermodel. She started making multiple six figures per year, had all kinds of crazy sponsorships, and basically had it going for her. He, on the other hand, didn't take care of himself and became cocky because his girl was the hottest, and everyone's jealous. She tried everything she could to not hurt his feelings by trying to tell him he had to change and look representative. He didn't shave his face on time, gained weight in a greasy way, was always wearing his old stinky clothes, dirty old sneakers, and so on. But 2 years ago, they broke up at 27. She kept doing what she was doing and living her best life, found a partner that acknowledged her value, and they're pregnant. He, on the other hand, is still cocky since he landed the hottest girl. No, he did not. They just had an amazing love story that ended because he didn't take care of her the way he was supposed to. After 2 years, he still hasn't kissed another girl. Out of the 7 dates he had, 2 didn't show up. 2 ditched him while going to the toilet, and the other 3 ghosted him after. He thinks it's on them and not on him. Story 14. My friend is cute, bubbly, and kind, but the second she's around men, she turns into this weird version of herself. She gets way too giddy and overexcited, laughs too hard at everything, says and does odd things, and comes off as cringy. It's especially frustrating to watch, because she's not some naive girl with no life experience encountering boys for the first time. She's middle-aged. Story 15. Female friend treats the bad men like gold, the good men like options, and gets the ick over trivial stuff. Always goes on to me crying about guys treating her like shit or being superficial, but gets bored by the ones she calls nice or sweet because they don't excite her, even if they're her type. Literally ghosted a great guy she was dating because his family used to own a dog. She is a cat person and said that he loves cats too, but she's worried that he may want to buy a dog if they were to get serious, which her cat might not like. She then texted him again, only after a guy she was seeing ghosted her, then asked me why the nice guy left her on read, then pulled an men when I tried explaining to her how she was unreasonable. Story 16. She just will not shut up and listen to someone else. She believes that her opinions, mostly wrong, are factual. Most of the time, what's coming out of her mouth is extremely negative. Nothing ever pleases her, so she thinks no one else should be pleased. My husband, who has known her longer than I have, once said she's the kind of woman you sleep with and then leave because you just don't want to listen to her. Story 17. Female friend, mid-30s. She has multiple complicated immune disorders, long COVID, and is allergic to everything. She owns her own apartment, has a great job, has a lovely personality, she's cute, and, when she's well enough, loves running. She wants to be in a relationship, but it always seems to end after just 1 or 2 dates. We live in a big city, which might make it harder because there's such a big dating pool that it's probably a deterrent. It's ironic, but I think she'd have better luck dating if she were in a smaller town where young singles couldn't get another date next week with someone who isn't so medically complex. Story 18. She wants to have a big, awesome career. Wants her man to have a big, awesome career. She's hot enough and cool enough to attract the caliber of man she wants. Problem is, she also wants to have a family. I'm sorry, but someone's big, awesome career is going to have to be sacrificed for a family. A CEO who is doing big things isn't going to sacrifice everything he's built to be a stay-at-home dad. She wants a man who will evolve around her life. Those guys exist and would date her, but that's not the kind of guy she dates, though. Story 19. I'd like to say I love all of these people and they're great friends, but they are pretty hit or miss in relationships right now, lol. Jaeger has no idea what he wants and constantly says he's not ready for a relationship, but proceeds to get into extremely emotionally connected situationships. Rich girl has high but reasonable standards, primarily looks for men on dating apps rather than in person. Also confused on whether they want to be celibate, bisexual, or poly. Big man, super emotionally clingy, low self-esteem due to weight, so he's scared to put himself out there and only messes with women where there is a past history no matter how toxic things were. Key, truly a hopeless romantic. will constantly pursue and pine for women not interested in what he wants who have stated as such, but he continues to try and be in their life. Thick thighs, no interest in meeting new people unless previously known. Extremely short-tempered, wants to go on dates but entertains men who just want sex. Quick to give ain't shit men money. Runway model. Honestly, they could get whoever they want, but they somehow stick with situations that are complicated for no reason. Cardigan, tries to go way too fast in relationships. On and off situationship with someone. Still only tries talking to people from college. Story 20. I had a work friend who was smart, funny, and attractive, but she would go out with a guy once or twice and fall madly in love. She would tell me, "This is it. He is the one. We are so perfect for each other, it is scary." Then she would go on to describe the date, red flags and all. There would be another date or two, and she would talk about how she was going to move in with him. One guy lived a couple hours away. How she was going to fly out to visit him. This one lived in California, and she met him when he was in town visiting his parents for a week, etc. Then, a day or two later, she would be heartbroken because the guy wanted to go slow or had ghosted her. I am sure she started talking marriage and freaked them out. It's now 30 years later, and we no longer work together. From what I've heard, she is still single. Story 21. She'd rather be single than with the wrong person. She wants a partner with a decent job, some level of financial security, and emotional maturity, all of which she has, with similar values and goals in life, religion, family, lifestyle. It's hard to meet people nowadays, and the men she does go out with usually have 2 or fewer of those points. Nice, good-looking guy with same values asked her out, but he's in a low-paying job with no ambition and is totally self-absorbed. Next guy she went on a date with is not making a lot but is about to graduate and go to graduate school and has a plan of what he wants to do with his life, so absolutely points for him, and shares most of the same values. But they want different lifestyles, traveling, camping, hiking, etc. versus homebody. Story 22. Extremely defensive about his opinion on everything, to the point where when you talk to him it feels like he's mad at you for having your own opinion. Example. I once quipped that I prefer classic full-body coffee roasts to lighter roasts while we were talking about coffee. He prefers light roasts and got extremely defensive about his choice and spent way too much time and energy explaining why light roast is superior and got upset when I basically was like, okay, nice, instead of changing my own opinion. Conversation went from relatively superficial to me trying to calm down a late 30s man because I had a different opinion about freaking coffee. Story 23. I know a guy that basically every woman he comes in contact with has a crush / likes / loves him. He's been the frequent culprit of broken hearts, without even trying. He doesn't sleep with them or something. He just listens very intently, remembers what you say, and is a very calm, relaxed presence. He's sort of intellectual, but genuinely without being pretentious. He's also handsome and fit with a good sense of humor. I know the effect he has because I've been one of the women who was, emphasis on was, in love with him, and other people have brought up the same things to me. He has this weird standard, though, where he thinks that you should really get to know someone before dating, like know them for years before even approaching dating. It's the weirdest thing in the world to me. I think it's great to get to know someone casually, maybe among friends, but years. Mind you, he isn't having conversations with the women he is interested in about this. One time he complained, "I'm just trying to get to know a woman, and then she goes to some other guy and gets engaged." And I'm like, they moved on to a guy that actually showed they were interested and intentionally pursuing them romantically. When they've known you for 2 years and you never showed any definitive interest? Imagine that. Anyways, sort of sad that it's just his bizarre ideas of relationships that keep him single. He wants to be married and all that. I think he's sort of given up now, though. Story 24. For years, this was my sister, and it was because she literally never put herself out there, wasn't all that social, and declared dating was too difficult, and she wanted to meet someone organically. This did not work for a long time. Eventually, when she gave up on this plan and actually started dating, lo and behold, she found someone LOL. She was the no take, only throw dog meme. No date, only boyfriend. Story 25. Male friend. Read that book by the pickup artist guy, and is convinced that negging women and manipulating them is the key to finding his soulmate. Female friend is so freaking competitive and has to one-up everything. It's extreme, like she went way into debt when a friend got a company car that was nicer than hers and she had to get a newer, better one. Told a friend who was diagnosed with cancer that it was no big deal because it was stage 2 and she had migraines that were probably much more painful. Unfortunately, she's the sister of someone I love very much, so I'm forced to be around her no matter how awful she is. Story 26. Female friend, she stinks. In the most literal sense of the word, she smells. I've brought it up very kindly a few times, but sadly, she's in denial. She stayed over for a weekend once, arrived Friday, hit theme parks in the summer heat Saturday and Sunday, left Monday night. I shit you not. She didn't shower once. She may have used body wipes, but that's never a substitute for a good scrub. She smelled like a sour milk and anchovy smoothie masked in perfume. I had to wash her bedding twice to remove the smell. It's a shame because she's extremely pretty and a kind person. Definitely gets a ton of first dates from online matches, but I can see her BO as a huge distraction and deterrent. Story 27. She won't make an ounce of compromise and expects the other party to unconditionally love her and all of her idiosyncrasies. The dude doesn't like the same food as her? Unacceptable. The dude also doesn't find it hot when she burps and farts loudly on the first date? Unacceptable. God forbid the dude has a hobby she's not interested. Sports? How uncultured. Cars? Disgusting. But he's still expected to 100% have the same hobbies as her. But only if he performs this hobby exactly the same way as her. Otherwise, it's a pass. She also goes on first dates and rants aggressively about politics. She grills the date angrily about topics such as marriage, future parenting style, etc. It's been a decade since she's been on a date, and she honestly seems much happier single. Story 28. He literally will make plans with you, at a date, but tickets, whatever. But if his family wants anything to do with him, he will bail on you and rush to their side. I tried hanging out with him and his family a few times. You can never get a word in, you won't be acknowledged, and you are mostly ignored. They are in tunnel mode with each other. He vacations with them every year and holiday he can. And I'm thinking, you want an accessory. She won't ever feel equal or a priority. Also, I'm introverted, and they are all foaming at the mouth, competitive extrovert types. I literally stopped going and often use that meme that says, you always ask the introverts to talk more, but you never make the space available and talk over them. Story 29, they need to leave their house. No one is going to show up at your job or front door asking to be in a relationship. You cannot expect to meet people if you only are in one of these two locations at any given time. To meet people, you have to be where people are. And no, that doesn't just mean bars and stuff. You can meet people anywhere. Just be sure to understand how to approach someone in different situations and settings. The cute person who is working a register probably doesn't want you to hit on them while they're at work. They're busy. But you can be friendly and start dialogues that open up into other things with anyone anywhere if it is A, not creepy, B, not an impedance, C, you move along when you should move along, D, take hints. Second, you do have to put some effort into appearance. Is it cool that people are judged based on appearance at first sight? Nah, but is that reality? Absolutely. We see people first, then we speak to them. First impression is appearance. Look approachable. Story 30. She's looking for an instant marriage-level connection from dating sites and takes even the gentlest rejection, including situations that aren't actually rejection, extremely poorly, and becomes very emotional if the getting to know you part of dating doesn't go her way. She also edits her pictures to be unrecognizable. She's a very good-looking person, but she is a type and posts photos that are likely to attract someone not only looking for, but exclusively prioritizing a very different physical type. And those photos also drive away people who go wild for her actual physical type. She talks and socializes as if she's still in college but is 30 years old, which is off-putting to 30-year-old men who want to fall in love and get married.